Hey, warriors, transformation is never a dramatic explosion of lightning and applause. It arrives quietly, slipping into the smallest choices you make when no one is watching, whispering through the moments when you choose to rise instead of fall, when you choose discipline over impulse, when you choose evolution over excuses. It lives in the sacred space between who you were yesterday and who you refuse to be tomorrow. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And the truth inside those words is timeless, unchanged by centuries, unchanged by circumstance. The power to shift your life, to rewrite your destiny, to evolve into someone unrecognizable exists within you. This very moment, not in some distant future, not when conditions become perfect, not when motivation magically arrives, but now, exactly where you stand. Look closely at your reflection. The person staring back at you is not fixed, not finished, not limited. They hold within them the blueprint of extraordinary transformation, but most people misunderstand what becoming unrecognizable truly means. It isn't about altering your appearance, buying new clothes, or creating superficial change. It's about rebuilding the architecture of your inner world, your thoughts, your habits, your reactions, your emotional patterns, from the foundation up. Society glorifies overnight success, yet never speaks of the silent battles fought in solitude. The early mornings when your eyes burn with exhaustion, but your spirit insists on rising. The lonely evenings when you choose growth over comfort. The days when you stand firm despite feeling anything but strong. Becoming unrecognizable means outgrowing every version of yourself that settled, every habit that kept you small, every behavior that betrayed your potential. It requires stripping away fear, excuses, insecurity, and stepping into the person you were always meant to become. The Stoics knew this deeply. Change is constant, but transformation is a choice. You can drift through life as a passenger, letting circumstances shape you, or you can take the chisel in your own hands and sculpt yourself into something remarkable. This journey is not about becoming someone else. It's about uncovering the strongest, wisest, most aligned version of you that has been buried under years of conditioning, noise, and self-doubt. Transformation begins with a single decision, the decision to reject mediocrity from the world and from yourself. It begins with choosing to fight against the familiar patterns that have kept you trapped. Every extraordinary person has walked this path. They became unrecognizable, not because they grew distant or arrogant, but because they evolved into someone who no longer fit the limitations of their past. The path won't be easy, greatness never is, yet every struggle will forge something inside you that cannot be broken. This moment right now is the moment your story bends. This is where you stop drifting and start driving. This is where your transformation becomes inevitable, and it begins with the first principle: mastering controlled silence. Silence is not emptiness. It is clarity, power, and dominance over your own reactions. Epictetus reminded us we have two ears and one mouth, so we can listen more than we speak. And the person who controls their tongue controls their world. The old you reacted instantly, defended everything, argued constantly, needed to be heard. But that version was predictable and easily manipulated. Becoming unrecognizable begins with restraint. When provoked, you breathe instead of reacting. When criticized, you evaluate instead of defending. When chaos surrounds you, you remain centered instead of consumed. Your silence protects your energy, sharpens your perception, builds your inner fortress, and shifts your identity from reactive to intentional. People will feel the change. Some will be unsettled because they can no longer control you. Others will respect you more deeply, and internally, something profound will happen. You will begin hearing your true thoughts, free from noise, free from ego, free from insecurity. Your silence will become your strength. Then comes the second principle, rebuilding your rituals from zero. Your life is shaped by your habits. Your days shape your weeks shape your years, and your years shape your destiny. Seneca taught that reflection each night is essential. What weakness did I overcome? What virtue did I build? Transformation is not forged in big moments. It is built in the small, repetitive actions that compound quietly. The old you woke up drowning in distraction, reaching for your phone instead of your purpose. The new you rises with intention. 3 breaths to anchor your mind, movement to awaken your body, wisdom to shape your thinking. One ritual at a time, you rebuild your identity. And you don't try to change everything. You master one habit, then another, until your days themselves become a reflection of strength. Your evenings become just as sacred: reflection, preparation, intentional rest. These rituals will separate you from your past self more than any dramatic choice ever could. People will notice your discipline before they understand it. They may mock it. Let them. Their discomfort is proof of your growth. Then we reach the third principle, cutting dead weight without guilt. Transformation demands pruning. Not everyone who started with you can continue with you. Some people love the version of you who tolerated disrespect, who lacked boundaries, who stayed small. Your evolution threatened their comfort. Some will support you. Those people stay. Others will resist your growth. Those people must go. Not with anger, not with drama, but with quiet distance. Reclaiming your energy will feel lonely at first, but that loneliness is sacred. It is the space where your new identity forms. The wrong people leave and the right people appear. Your circle becomes smaller but stronger. Your life becomes lighter but more aligned. Then comes the fourth principle, embracing discomfort as your new normal. The discomfort you've been avoiding is the doorway to the life you want. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. The Stoics understood that hardship strengthens the soul the way turning soil strengthens the earth. Every time you lean into discomfort, physical, mental, emotional, you expand your capacity. Cold showers, difficult workouts, honest conversations, emotional vulnerability, facing fears instead of hiding from them. All of these mold you into someone unbreakable. Discomfort becomes your teacher, your training ground, your advantage. The person who trains in discomfort will always outgrow the person who hides in comfort. And finally comes the fifth principle, rewriting your internal narrative. The story you tell yourself determines your destiny. Most people live imprisoned by a voice that constantly reminds them of their failures, weaknesses, and limitations. But that voice is not truth, it is conditioning. You have the power to rewrite it. When your mind says, I can't, you rewrite it to, I can learn. When your mind says, I always fail, oh, wow, heck, that's it. You rewrite it to, yeah, I am improving every day. So when your mind says, no, I'm not good enough. So my does a kick out stuff, you rewrite it to, I am becoming the person I admire. Like, change the narrative and everything else follows. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the obstacle becomes the way. The narrative becomes the pathway to strength. Speak to yourself as the hero of your own story. Reinforce resilience. Reinforce courage. Reinforce growth. Over time, the narrative becomes identity, and identity becomes reality. And now, with all 5 principles in your hands, understand this. Knowledge without action is useless. You can consume endless wisdom, but if you do not apply it, it becomes nothing more than entertainment. The gap between knowing and doing is where most people abandon their potential. Don't be one of them. Act now, not tomorrow, not later, not when the time is right. Transformation begins today, in this moment, in the smallest step you choose to take. Send the message, end the relationship, start the workout, write the new narrative, do anything that moves you forward. 6 months from now, you will either be unrecognizable or unchanged, and that outcome depends entirely on what you choose right now. You deserve to evolve. You deserve to meet the version of you that kept wanting for courage. You deserve to become someone you admire, someone powerful, someone aligned with their highest potential. Your transformation begins now. Seal it. I am unrecognizable.